Welcome aboard, everybody. Dr. Peter Glidden here. Fire Your MD Now is the name of the show. FireYourMDNow.com, the name of the website. 866-582-9933, the phone number to call. 866-582-9933. And if you're listening to the podcast and would like help, that number, 855-347-3696, 855-347-3696. Well, time marches forward, getting closer and closer to December 22nd. I don't know if you're nervous. I'm certainly not, although it's an interesting phenomenon. There is actually an actual thing that's happening. Our solar system, the sun, Earth, the moon, Mercury, Venus, Earth, Mars, Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, Neptune, Pluto, right, is, as it goes around the Milky Way galaxy, which is, and if you look up at the night sky at night, you see the Milky Way. That's towards the center of the galaxy. Our galaxy looks like a pie plate, looks like a fried egg, right? And we're on one of the outer limbs of it, and the whole thing's moving around. And as our solar system moves through the Milky Way galaxy, it moves in a spiral pattern. It moves in a spiral pattern. And one of, like a sine wave, up and down and up and down and always progressing forward. Well, at certain intervals, the spiral path of our solar system across the Milky Way galaxy makes it cross the plane of the equator of the galaxy. Just like if you're sailing a ship from the North Pole to the South Pole, you're going to pass the equator eventually. Well, our solar system is passing through the galactic equator. How about that? Even as we speak, getting closer and closer to the galactic equator, going to pass that way, going to hit that mark, December 21st, December 22nd. Do I know what that means? Heck no. Have no idea what that means. But it's an interesting time to be alive here on good old planet Earth. You know, knowledge is power, folks. You don't know what you don't know. And like Shakespeare said, there is much more in heaven and earth than is available in your philosophy, Horatio. So much to know here, so much to do, so much to uncover. Let's start talking about pragmatic things. The body has 90 essential nutrients that it needs in order to work, 90. 60 of the 90 are minerals. The minerals are undisputedly the most important nutrients that the body needs. Without a mineral, hardly anything could get done in the body. All of the body's metabolic processes, from the production of urine to the production of alpha and beta thought waves, requires a mineral. For goodness sake, if you cremate the body, a third of the ash is calcium. The body has more needs for calcium than it does for any other mineral. But calcium is one. It's a major mineral. You know, it's like the king of the realm. But there's the queen, and there's the prince, and there's the dukes, and there's everybody else, right? All the worker bees in the field. Well, it's the same. Only problem with minerals is, as far as our health is concerned, and this is what the MD community has completely overlooked. You know, they have no training, no experience, no nutrition, no respect, not even any appreciation for medical nutrition. To them, it's an afterthought. You know, it's pathetic. It's nothing to waste any time on whatsoever, because the MDs believe that the human body is just this amalgamation of biochemicals that just happened to coalesce a gazillion years ago in some antediluvian swamp, energized by a bolt of electricity from on high, and then started the evolution process from species to species to species to species to the human being, which is just a crock of crap. I mean, if there is such a thing as interspecies or extra species evolution, you know, like turtles evolve into, or dinosaurs evolve into birds, you know, reptiles evolve into mammals, mammals evolve into man. Well, why are there still reptiles? I mean, there were frogs in dinosaur days, so if extra species evolution is the deal, then why are there still frogs? I mean, why haven't they evolved into something else? And actually, there was a very interesting book called The Naked Ape, written by a guy named Desmond Morris. And this was in response to Darwin's whole evolutionary theory, which, quite frankly, the medical community has taken that ball and run with it. Darwin never said that we evolved from the apes. What Darwin said was that there is interspecies evolution, that a particular type of a bird, and if you take, a chickadee from New England and you smuggle it to Antarctica and, let it live, it will adapt to the environment. And within 3 or 4 or 5 generations, the Antarctic chickadees will look quite a bit different than the New England chickadees. Still a chickadee. The chickadee doesn't turn into a turtle, right? Desmond Morris wrote a fascinating book called The Naked Ape, and he entertained the notion that if extra-species evolution was in fact correct, and that if human beings were in fact descended from apes, then because the evolutionary table is so unbelievably slow, and when we're talking about historical geological time, it's mind-boggling. I mean, it is mind-boggling how slow geological time is. It's unbelievably slow. If evolution, extra-species evolution, was in fact a fact, then, and if human beings did in fact, as a fact, evolve from apes, then we should still be covered with hair. Because there simply hasn't been enough time for us to lose that particular adaptation. It hasn't been enough time. It doesn't happen that quickly. You can't. You cannot have an evolutionary leap that quickly. It just doesn't happen. You can't go from New York to Paris in 5 minutes. You can't do that. You cannot have an extra species development from an ape, a chimpanzee, into a human being in the amount of time that the scientific community is telling us, and have the human being be naked. No hair. Hair on the head. That's it. Right? A little bit of hair on the legs. That's it. But science has completely overlooked this, and this is my constant message. Scientists are no smarter than you. Medical doctors are no smarter than you. They're better memorizers than you are. That's it. They have better memories. They've trained themselves to memorize ridiculous facts. They're like cyborgs. Yes, master. E equals mc squared. 2 plus 2 equals 4. Buzz, click. They're not any smarter than you are. They have better memories. They have richer parents, right? They have a little more payola in their wallets. They could actually afford medical school. But they're no smarter than you are. Certainly. One of my favorite quotes, right? Max Planck. Science progresses one funeral at a time. What does that mean? It means that the scientific community, by and large, tends to hold on to old-fashioned, outdated dogma because they're cowards. It is not the scientist's job to push the envelope. It is not the scientist's job to open up new frontiers. It's the scientist's job to cower behind their desk, prop up all of the old theories, fearful for their life that if they're ever going to put forth something new, they'd be ridiculed. Case in point, Dr. Semmelweis. This was pre-Louis Pasteur. In the 1700s, I believe, Dr. Semmelweis noticed that in his hospital, the women who gave birth by midwives in the hospital, their children didn't get childbed fever. And back in the day, childbed fever was a big, bad deal. Killed thousands of people. A very high percentage of babies that were born in the 18th century had childbed fever, which was an infectious disease caused by MDs. Because nobody knew about germs back in that day. And so what MDs would do is they would leave the surgical room covered in blood. And they have the aprons on, they're covered with the white coats. That's where the whole white coat thing came from, by the way. Like butchers, covered with blood. They'd wipe their hands, on the apron, bloody hands, and then they go and deliver the baby with the bloody hands, and childbed fever was everywhere. But because nobody knew about microbes, nobody put two and two together except Semmelweis. Semmelweis said, look, there's got to be something that the doctors are doing that's incorrect, because the midwives' babies never get childbed fever. What's the difference? Well, the doctors are covered with blood. There must be something in the blood that's causing the fever to happen, and this was scandalous. This was outrage. This was so unbelievably outside of the normal envelope that Dr. Semmelweis was evicted from medicine, he was bankrupted, and then they hung him in his garroted apartment. They strung him up by his neck and made it look like suicide for having the audacity to assert that if surgeons simply washed their hands before delivering babies, then childbed fever would be eradicated. Scientists are not to be put up on pedestals. I'm not saying look down on them. I'm just saying don't look up at them. They're not any smarter than you. And I can make the very easy argument that we are in most of the predicaments that we are in with our health now because the scientific community is cowardly, out of touch, 100% blinded by their own dogmatic hanging on to old-fashioned, outdated ideas, which is just another reason, one more in my million reasons, Dr. Glidden's million reasons, why you should fire your MD now. The best possible thing you can do to support and promote the health of your body is to fire your MD now and get on board with Longevity's line of nutritional supplements. You're going to love how you feel because you don't know what you're missing, ladies and gentlemen. You've been listening to the MDs for too long. Stop it, knock it off, and give me a call. A couple things to clear up about Semmelweis. He lived in the 1800s, not the 1700s, and he died in an asylum from blood poisoning after he was beaten by guards. He was committed to an insane asylum because he had a breakdown after he was rejected from the medical community for the simple notion that washing your hands is a good thing to do if you're an obstetrician. Science progresses one funeral at a time, ladies and gentlemen. Do not put the scientists or medical professionals on a pedestal. Put them on equal footing, look them straight in the eye, and get straight answers from them. And if they talk down to you, write a letter to the state's medical board and complain. It is time to stop the insanity and take back your health. But as God is my witness, I wouldn't even spend 5 minutes. I wouldn't even spend 5 seconds in the presence of an MD unless you're bleeding to death, unless you have a bullet in the arm or some type of trauma. That's their bailiwick. That's their domain. Other than that, just avoid them. Stop giving them your time. Stop giving them your money. Fire your MD now. I'm as serious as a heart attack. And the last person you want to go to, if you've had a heart attack, is an MD. Before I get off on the Semmelweis tangent, I was talking about minerals. Your body needs 60 minerals, 60. Calcium and magnesium are among two of the most famous, but there are strange and peculiar little trace minerals also that your body needs. Things like vanadium and chromium, europium, hafnium, right? Peculiar little minerals that your body needs. These are called trace minerals. And the only person that makes minerals is God. Animals can't make them. Plants can't make them. So if you think that you're getting all the calcium that your body needs from drinking cow's milk, you're sadly mistaken. Because the only way the calcium gets into the cow is if it's in the grass that the cow's eating. How did it get into the grass? Well, it had to be in the soil. So if the cow is eating grass that's grown in soil that don't have calcium in it, there ain't no calcium in the cow's milk. There just isn't. By and large, it's easier to get calcium from maple syrup. There's more calcium in maple syrup per ounce than there is in cow's milk. Now, I'm not recommending you drink maple syrup for a calcium supplement, but my point is, we don't know what the heck we're talking about when it comes to minerals because we've been uneducated about it. We've been educated incorrectly about it because the people that taught us about it didn't know anything about it either. It's nonsense. It's the blind leading the blind. Now, let's say you wanted to get yourself some calcium. Well, chalk, that's calcium carbonate. So here's what you could do. You could go to the Great White Cliffs of Dover. You could, dig up bagfuls of chalk. You could take it back home. You could pulverize it. You can boil it and kill off all the microbes and the bad stuff that might somehow be in there, and then you could eat the powdered chalk every day. That's calcium in a mineral form. Calcium in a mineral form is very difficult for your body to absorb. In a metallic form, In a metallic form, it's very hard for your body to absorb. Better thing to do would be to sprinkle some of that calcium carbonate, powder that stuff up, and sprinkle it into the soil, and then plant a tomato plant or a celery plant or a lettuce plant, or I don't care what kind of plant. Just plant a plant on it and let the plant suck the calcium up. As the plant sucks the metallic calcium out of the soil through contact with its root fibers, it changes the metabolic structure it changes it from a metallic form into a colloidal form. Now, a colloidal form of the mineral is 100% absorbable. It is nature's preferred form. This is one of the reasons why we need to eat plants, because they're loaded with minerals. But really, they're only loaded with minerals. They only have the minerals that are in the soil that they grew in. But the minerals that are in the plant are in a colloidal form, and they're extremely easy for the body to digest. Now, back in the day, before the electrical revolution, we used to heat with wood and cook with wood, and then we'd put the wood ash in our food and in our gardens. You know what wood ash is? It's like 99% minerals. 99% minerals, wood ash. Back in the day, when people supplemented their foods, their soups and their stews and their breads with wood ash, and they put the wood ash in the gardens, they were way more mineralized than we are today. So they had less incidence of high blood pressure, less incidence of arthritis, less incidence of calcium deficiency diseases. But today they're rampant, because when we started heating with electricity, we didn't make up the mineral difference, and we're dying as a result of stupidity promulgated by pharmaceutical companies. Fire your MD, folks. And it looks like Sandy is up first. Sandy, I think you have a testimonial. Welcome aboard. You are live.
Yes, I do. Your gluten grain video really was very helpful for me. I had proctitis for many years. I'm almost 56 and had it for many years, and the doctor told me to take some stupid suppository, and I stopped taking it years ago and didn't go to him anymore. And I thought I asked him, I said, there's got to be some natural thing for this. Isn't there something? I mean, this is what you study. And he goes, oh, no. And I thought, forget you, you idiot. And I actually fired him years ago. Forget it. What a dummy. I thought, there's something wrong here. I must be from another planet. I don't get it. So I figured, I was just, I thought I got to be my own detective. And then, I've heard some things about gluten, but your video, I think, spelled it out beautifully, and thank you so much for that. And I've always been very interested in nutrition, and now because of you, I actually already signed up. I'm going to go back to school to become a medical nutritionist, and I'm going to go to the right school, the one in Connecticut, by the way. So.
Well, you're the greatest. You're the greatest, Sandy. All right. Well, look, I'm honored and flattered and really, really excited about your testimonial. So tell me, like, on a scale of 1 to 10, before you switched out your diet, how bad were the proctitis symptoms?
So bad that if I had gas, blood was coming out. It was that bad.
Is that right? And how long, and where are you at now with that syndrome?
I took the gluten out. I took all the bad foods out. I've always been into organic and everything else. But I've also taken the aloe, mucilage, polysaccharides, or whatever. That's also been very healing for me, too, in addition.
Yeah.
But I notice a big difference without the gluten. It does make a difference. I don't care what anyone says. It makes a very big difference. So,
yeah,
and I sent your video to my brother-in-law, who's an MD, idiot guy, and because my nephew has Crohn's disease, and no comment from him at all, nothing.
Yeah, it's interesting.
You know what? I really don't care what he thinks. I really don't even care.
That's a good mindset to be in, because we try to enroll these guys, we try to convince them, we try to just offer a hand across the aisle type of a thing, and they're always spit on, we're always turned down, we're always derided, we're always looked down on. So I'm right there with you. Let's just avoid them. Let's just stop using them. Let's just stop talking to them. Pass them on the other side of the street type of a deal, and let them wind their way through their own dharmic morass of a life. Because, the only thing that makes me go to sleep at night is I am confident in the knowledge that what goes around comes around. What goes around comes around. And Napoleon Bonaparte said it best. He said medical doctors are going to have more lives to account for in the afterlife than even we generals. So, it's only a matter of time before everything that these guys have done comes back to bite them in the butt. So I think about stuff like that. It takes a lot of the stress off. But for goodness sake, really, really great news, Sandy. Let me know when are you going to start work in Connecticut at Bridgeport?
Well, I have to take preliminary classes here, biology and such, and then they have an online course, thank goodness, because I live in Michigan. But I do have a question for you. I'm taking the supplements, the longevity, and I'm not quite sure what's going on. I noticed that I still have, I've got a little bit of constipation going on and gas. I don't know if I'm allergic to eggs or what have you. I just don't know, and I'm not at this point sure what I should eat. I'm getting a little, I've been having this for the last couple of weeks, it seems like. So.
All right, so most probably it's related to the Beyond Tangy Tangerine, because when somebody has proctitis, that's a big bad, that's like the end of the road of a lot of gastric distress and breakdown. Like, when you get proctitis, things have just broken down all the way, and tissue is actually destroyed. And so there's little tears in there, there's inflammation, there's blood where there shouldn't be. And, it's a big bad deal, right? So when you have a set of symptoms that advanced, then 5 will get you 10, that you also have a lion's share of food allergies. Because food allergies and proctitis, food allergies and irritable bowel, food allergies and celiac, food allergies and Crohn's, food allergies and ulcerative colitis, it's just, like where there's smoke, there's fire. Where there's one, there's got to be another. So guaranteed you've got food allergies. Now, the trouble with the Longevity Healthy Start Pack is that the Beyond Tangy Tangerine, arguably one of the best vitamin supplements in the world right now, vitamin, mineral, antioxidant supplements in the world right now, it has 115 fruits and vegetables. So there are 115 different proteins in there that you could be having an allergic reaction to. So the only way to know whether that particular supplement or any other supplement, quite frankly, is a problem is I would eliminate the Beyond Tangy Tangerine from your dietary program for 4 days. 4 days. See how you feel. And then start taking the Beyond Tangy Tangerine again, but here's how I want you to take it. 1 level scoop in 24 ounces of water per 50 pounds of body weight per day. So if you're 200 pounds, you do 1 level scoop in 24 ounces of water 4 times a day. And I want you to take at least 1 hour to drink each solution down. So eliminate the Beyond Tangy Tangerine for 4 days, then start to take it in a very dilute dose slowly over the course of at least 60 minutes, and see if once you've added the Beyond Tangy back that your gastric symptoms increase a little bit. If they do, then you're allergic to something in it. You have to switch it out for something else. The Beyond Tropical, the Tropical Plus is a liquid supplement that would be my next best guess. It's the Beyond Tangy Tangerine without the 115 fruits and vegetables in it. It's called Tropical Plus. So if the Beyond Tangy Tangerine does in fact become the culprit, then I would fall back to the Tropical Plus, and you should be okay. Now, another thing that you can do is you can keep a running food diary, and every time you eat something, you just write it down on a piece of paper, and then you keep track of your symptoms. So, you write down whatever you had for lunch, and then if a couple of hours later you have gastric distress or constipation or diarrhea or gas, then you link those two events together and then you just keep the running list. And every time you get a symptom after you eat something, you make a little mark. And by the third or the fourth time that happens, there will be items on the 4 lists that are similar. And by cross-referencing those lists, you should be able to determine the food or the foods that are giving you the trouble. The only other way to do it is a blood test. It costs about $250, I think, by U.S. Biotech. It's the only lab in the world that I recommend for a food allergy determination, U.S. Biotech. You can get in touch with my office if you want. We'll hook you up with one of those blood tests. But a better way to do it, I think, is just to keep a running diet diary, a food diary, and then do cross-referencing after the fact. In any event, you're the greatest, Sandy. Keep up the good work. Thanks for the testimonial. Thanks for the kind words. And remember, you are the last best hope that your community has for living a long, healthy, and wealthy life. So get out there and spread our word and keep up the good work. Looks like Pat is up next. Pat, calling with a question. I don't even know what this is about. Pat, welcome aboard. You are live.
Hi, Dr. Glidden. I also had an issue with BTT, and it seemed to have given me loose stools. And I am a sickle cell anemia patient, and I'm taking the plant-derived minerals, the Formula Plus, the Super Cell Protector, FX, the Ultimate Enzyme, Cal-Toddy, Glucogel, Z-Radical, Selenium, Omega, and D-Stress. I'm having some body aches, and the Formula Plus is no longer available, and I want to know what else to do.
Well, are you taking the Beyond Tangy, or did you stop?
I stopped about 4 months ago.
Oh, yeah. All right. And you were using the Formula Plus instead of it, right?
Right.
Was it the Formula Plus or Tropical Plus?
The Formula Plus, the tablets.
Oh, yeah. So try the Tropical Plus. It's a liquid.
Okay. Is there any equivalent? Because it seems like I do better with the pills.
Well, there's a better equivalent would be the anti-aging healthy, no, it's called the anti-aging daily premium pack. The anti-aging daily premium pack. Now
okay.
that has selenium in it, it has a multiple vitamin in it, and it has the essential fatty acids in it. So that would be kind of sort of a workaround for the Healthy Start Pack, but you would still need to add the OsteoFX Plus or the Cal-Toddy to it. So it's called the Anti-Aging Daily Premium Pack, and that's the workaround for that, if you prefer the capsules to everything else. Oh, and also that also has the plant minerals in it. So if you get the Anti-Aging Daily Premium Pack, then you wouldn't need to get an extra bottle of plant minerals. You wouldn't need an extra EFA, and you wouldn't need, you'd need everything else, right? So that would be a good thing to do, Pat. Check it out. It's called the Anti-Aging Daily Premium Pack. By the way, how long have you been doing this, Pat?
I just looked at my notes since late August.
All right. And have you been back to have the sickle cell situation checked out since?
I have, and my numbers generally are good. My hemoglobin is still not doing as well as I'd like, and so it makes me like tired and wiped out, and right now I've got body aches, and I don't know what that's about. But as I looked at the whole panel of things, everything was in the normal range, which it had not been before.
Okay, good. And how long have you had sickle cell?
In my entire life.
Yeah, your entire life. All right. Okay, so and how old are you?
I am 68.
All right, so the old-time naturopaths said, as a rule of thumb, it takes 1 month for every year that you've had the problem to completely get on the other side of the problem.
Okay.
So that means to really get on the other side of this sickle cell thing, to support and promote the health of your blood dramatically, it's going to take about 68 months. That's 5.5 years, right?
Right.
Now, since using Dr. Wallach's approach, I've seen that timetable cut in half. So I'm going to counsel you to hang tight with our program for 2 years. hang tight with the program for 2 years, and inside of that 2-year timetable, you want to be experiencing slow and steady and consistent, persistent change. So what you might want to do, what might be helpful to you and everybody else who's listening, is keep a symptom inventory. So get a piece of paper and just write down all of the things that are bothering you, right?
Okay.
Digestion, mood, energy, sleep, joint pain, whatever. Just make a running list, and every week check in with yourself and give that particular symptom a score, right? 0 to 10. 0 being it's completely gone, and 10 being, oh my God, take me to the hospital, it's killing me, right? If you keep a running inventory of your symptoms every week, it will show you right there in, easy to understand numbers, your progress, because especially with chronic diseases, and especially when we're in a program for a long term, it's easy for us to forget how bad we used to feel, right? Because the mind tends to forget bad things. But if you keep a running inventory, you can check back and see, yeah, son of a gun, man, 4 months ago I was in tough shape, I'm much better now. There's still room for work, but I'm much better than I was. Keep up the good work, Pat. Yeah, you're on the right track, baby. Just keep it up. Albert is calling with something about the business opportunity, I think. Albert, welcome aboard. You are live.
Thank you, Doctor. I'd like to ask you 2 questions.
Shoot.
First one being how the 90 for Life savings card works as far as for the person that I might hand one off to, and also how the pay plan works on that, and whether if I'm signed up as an associate, would I receive a commission on that each month?
Well, the answer is okay, good. So the answer is yes. If you're signed up as an associate, you're paid on the use of the pharmacy card. Every time somebody uses the pharmacy card, you get 10 cents or 25 cents depending on your rank. And I've had people at my lectures that have stood up and told me they saved $120 on their prescription meds by using the pharmacy card. I've had some people tell me they saved $2 by using the pharmacy card. I've had other people tell me that it didn't save them a dime. So everybody's different depending on the drug, what their own insurance premium is, And by the way, you can use the pharmacy card to buy pet meds also, not just human meds, pet meds. And usually the pharmacies don't care because they do such mega volume business anyway. I know one guy in Boston that's gone around to all of the pharmacies, and he's just given them cards. He's got like 50 pharmacies all around New England where the pharmacist just keeps a stack of the cards behind the desk, and when somebody comes in who's having trouble financially, the pharmacist, who's got a kind heart, gives them the pharmacy card and uses it to give them a discount for their meds. And sometimes the savings can be substantial, and you do get a kickback on it, and it shows up in your monthly commission check. If you go into your back office and look at the breakdown for your commissions, if there have been pharmacy card sales, it shows up in one of the little columns in one of the little categories. Now, I don't know many people that are making significant revenue from the use of the pharmacy card. That's not, maybe there are some, and I just haven't met them. But the real bang for the pharmacy card comes in getting your foot in the door. Because who's taking prescription medicines? Everybody. It's crazy, and it's tragic, and it's a problem, but everybody's taking prescription meds. Who's in financial, high water? Who's in financial trouble? Most people. Most people are struggling with finances. Most people are taking drugs. So the pharmacy card is an easy foot in the door. And, there's a couple of ways to pitch the pharmacy card. If I could show you a way to make money by giving away something for free, would you be interested? Because that's what the pharmacy card is. And that's a good little opening line to get people exposure to what we're doing. Another way is, look, I see you're taking prescription medication. I'm going to give you this card. Show it to the pharmacist. It's free. There's nothing to sign up, no forms to fill out. It never expires. I want you to give it to the pharmacist the next time you get your meds and see if you save a little money. And if you ever would like information about how to get your body so healthy you can stop taking your meds, call that number on the back. Because on the back of the pharmacy card, there's an 800 number that shunts people into a pre-recorded longevity message. And at the end of the pre-recorded longevity message, it encourages people to get in touch with the person who gave them the pharmacy card, and your phone number isn't on the back of the pharmacy card. It's a beautiful way to get your foot into the door because everybody's taking meds, and most people are struggling financially. So that's the real benefit from the pharmacy card, is to use it as a foot in the door opportunity maker to help show people the usefulness, to help drag people into the light of medical nutrition with longevity. Go out there and get them, Albert. Make a big splash. Lend out CDs. Give away the pharmacy cards. Invite people to events and make a difference in your world. You can do it. I know you can do it. Now go out there and make me proud. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm your friendly neighborhood naturopath and your steadfast advocate for health, Dr. Peter Glidden. See you tomorrow.